In today's Leeds news, Struijk has been massive. Parrott and Leeds are a good fit. Youth signing set to take place. Harry Wilson's latest info and more offers for Karl Darlow. Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View for Tuesday, the 9th of June with your Leeds United news. Hope you're all having a good week so far. There's a bit of stuff to get stuck into today, but before we get to that, just to let you know, we did have the podcast last night. Myself, Paul and Jerry doing the Player of the Year awards as voted for by all of you and nominated by all of you, as well as having a chat about the Ellen Road development. Paul has been busy around Ellen Road getting an update on what's been going on at the site right now. They're busy. They're very, very busy, as you can imagine. Tomorrow night, we'll have a podcast out. Adam Pope from BBC is joining me to have a little bit of a look back and then a little big look forward to last season and next season, as we tend to do this time every year with Adam. Really appreciate his time and some interesting insights into transfers, contracts, and what Leeds will be planning to do this summer after speaking to Parag Morate and Daniel Farke. You can check out all of that tomorrow night on the podcast. I'll give you another nudge tomorrow morning and remind you about that. Today, there's a bit of stuff to get stuck on. We'll start off with Leeds United vice captain Pascal Struijk, as Ethan Ampadu has been speaking about him in the last 24 hours. So after Ethan Ampadu signed his new deal at Leeds United for another 4 years, all of the contract focus now shifts towards Pascal Struijk, Brendan Aronson and Ilya Gruev, who all move into the final year of their current deals. Now, outside of the Karl Darlow situation, which we'll get to at the end of this video, he's out of contract at the end of this month. Struijk seems like the obvious one to focus on right now at the very least, because Brendan Aronson is off at a World Cup and Ilya Gruev is out with an injury that's going to keep him out for a little while longer as well. So right now, the most important one that needs to get done and looked at is Pascal Struijk. Now, Ethan Ampadu was talking about this yesterday, and he's very hopeful that Pascal Struijk will stay at the club. He doesn't want to see anyone leave. And when he was talking about him as a vice captain for the club, he pointed out how massive he has been and a great support that he has been to him as a captain over the last couple of years. And unless, from a transfer perspective, Leeds United can bring in better quality for a better value than selling Pascal Struijk this summer, you would imagine the sensible choice is to retain him at the club, especially considering the relationship that he's built up with Jakob Biel and Joe Rodon over the last 12 months. However, Ampadu did speak to Leeds Live's Isaac Johnson about the situation, and not just Struijk, but any player leaving the club. And he had the following to say: he's been massive. If you want to talk about how players are, I think the whole squad in general, it's not just a captain and vice captain. I think Pascal can also give testament to every other player here. It's a squad that's full of leaders. Everyone leads in their own different ways, but it's a squad full of leaders and a squad that wants to make sure that everyone is keeping to the highest standards. I hope that everyone can be here, and I think we've achieved something great this season, and I believe that everyone wants to go and achieve greater things. So I think obviously it would be very sad to see anyone go. Obviously, Pascal included, as we've said over the past couple of weeks, a lot of this will come down to Pascal Struijk himself, what he wants to do. He's been at Leeds for 8 years. He's seen some pretty high highs and he's seen some pretty low lows. He's a vice captain of a promoted side. He was part of the initial promoted side under Marcelo Bielsa as well. But he has seen the downsides as well. And maybe he fancies a fresh challenge. Maybe he wants fresh scenery. But again, for me, all of this will come down to the player himself and what he decides he wants to do. And right now, that's not clear. It's not even clear if Leeds to put a contract offer on the table to him just yet. But it is one that they will need to get sorted out. And again, unless you can get better for better value than you're going to get from selling him, you're probably better off locking him down and staying as you are, because he's got his better years ahead of him. And outside of the odd little error, and they've all got one in them, he has had a very strong partnership with that back three this year. So we'll wait and see. Let's move on talking about Troy Parrott, and this was always going to happen, wasn't it? Leeds have been linked with Troy Parrott continuously over the last 12 months. Towards the back end of last summer's transfer window, he started popping up. And then again in January, his name popped up quite a lot. We talked about him an awful lot on the channel. He's had a phenomenal season, and he doesn't exactly tick the 6 foot plus target man striker mold that Leeds have been looking at for the last couple of windows. And he's definitely not in the Jurgen Strand Larsson bracket that Leeds tried to get in January. But he would definitely add a far different dynamic to the Leeds United attack. And you could see him working very well just off the strikers or in a front two if Leeds decided to move in that direction. As expected, he has once again popped up as a link to Leeds United this summer. But it's not just Leeds. There's a lot of competition, and a lot firmer competition than there was this time last year. There's a lot of talk about a potential return to Spurs, where he started his career, and AC Milan in Italy over the past couple of months have been labelled as having serious interest in the striker. Now, they've missed out on Champions League football this year. That might not be a major factor in this. One of the major factors for Troy Parrott going into next season will be game time, and former Ireland international Andy Townsend has been speaking about Parrott and believes that he would be a decent fit for Leeds. But the most important thing for Parrott is to get game time next season. And speaking to the OLBG podcast, Townsend said the following about Parrott. I think Troy Parrott will be a good fit for Everton or Leeds. He could go in there and score his quota of goals. And I think what's really key for Troy is that he continues to play every week and keeps hitting his targets. Now, Townsend believes that Parrott will be cautious around his next move. And I think he will be as well. He's been a hugely important player for Ireland this year, and playing for his national side means a huge amount to him. So he's going to want to continue that. He's not going to want to go from the seasons he's had in the Netherlands, where he's got 24 goals and 9 assists in all competitions, to being a bench player in the Premier League. There's obviously the standard step up from the Dutch league to the Premier League, but it's not exactly a league he's unfamiliar with. He came through the ranks at Spurs. He has some Premier League experience under his belt, and he's a far more mature player than he was when he left Spurs, and he's been doing it at international level as well. And he would add something different to Leeds United's attack. I still think Leeds need a target man. I think if Pirou leaves, Parrott fills that bracket, but I still think Leeds need an additional player up there as well. But I wouldn't be against seeing Troy Parrott, but this is going to be one that will likely rumble on, and there's a huge amount of real competition in him, and he will cherry pick his next move to be where he's going to get the most amount of football. And as we know, Leeds will not guarantee anybody game time. You've got to come in and earn it, which is probably the right way, but a lot of sides won't guarantee you that either. So it's got to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Let's move on to a signing that is happening. Leeds Academy continues to add more players to the current group, and last summer they had a lot of success with this. They brought in Jayden Lenu from Manchester City. He became an ever-present in Leeds under 21 side and made the bench a couple of times towards the end of the season and got his first senior national call-up for the Welsh national side. So they've done well in this situation. They've also brought Ibrahimovic Fletcher in from Manchester United more recently. He's been very good for Leeds under 18 side and has played for the under 21s as well. But now, according to the talent hunter, Leeds are set to sign 16-year-old Manchester United winger Silva Mexes. He is expected to sign a scholarship deal at the club before he then signs a full professional contract once he turns 17 years of age. Now, this story came up a few months back about this happening. The talent hunter have got an incredible track record when it comes to youth signing. So it does look, for all intents and purposes, like this will definitely be one that happens. He will join next season's under 18 group, but will likely be part of the under 21 squad as well. He's a left winger. He's 5'10" in height. This kid is an absolute flyer. He has a personal best 100-meter sprint of 11.2 seconds, and that shouldn't surprise you when you find out his dad is Rob Earnshaw, who's pretty nippy as well. He's a homegrown player. He can represent other countries, but he is qualified for England, so he would qualify as a homegrown player for Leeds United. As I say, he's quick, he's nippy, and he's a decent young talent as well. He came through the Ipswich Town's youth academy originally before joining Manchester United, and now looks set to join Leeds United. We'll give you more updates on that when it comes in. Let's move on. Bit of a fresh update on the Harry Wilson situation, and Ethan Ampadu has been busy trying to sell the Leeds United project and a potential new home to Harry Wilson during the international break, but he's got a couple of offers on the table, and a bit more detail came out yesterday around this. Fulham yesterday confirmed they have in fact offered Harry Wilson yet another contract offer. They've offered him 2 in the past, both have been rejected. We'll see if they've any success with this one. But Leeds are also believed to have put a contract offer in front of Harry Wilson as well, similar to the one they put in front of him at the back end of last summer's transfer window. Fulham must feel relatively confident about this situation. They wouldn't have put it out there publicly if they didn't. Or, I suppose the flip side to this is they could be trying to control a narrative over a very successful player who could be leaving the club on a free transfer this summer. But either way, there is offers on the table. Yesterday, Aston Villa were labelled as the clear front runners to get his signature. Obviously, they can offer him Champions League football next year. He'd likely fit into that squad quite well. Leeds are in amongst it, but it's not clear whether Leeds' offer is equal to or better than Fulham's current offer. Last summer, Leeds United agreed terms with Harry Wilson over a move to the club. It was Fulham who decided not to sign off on the deal at the end. So maybe some of the background work as this has already been done. We know he's a proper, genuine target for Leeds this summer. But Villa are labelled as the front runners for his signature. His odds on joining Leeds, funnily enough, yesterday dropped from 4-1 to 2-1. And that can happen with a couple of decent-sized bets going on the player coming to the club. So you can't probably read in too much to that as a major metric. But it is interesting to see that more information about this continues to come out. He's not gone anywhere just yet. His contract at Fulham expires at the end of this month. So expect this to rumble on at least until then, if not probably a little bit longer. And speaking about players who are Welsh that have contract situations to talk about, let's talk about Karl Darlow. It's been confirmed now pretty much by every major source. Leeds want to keep Karl Darlow next season. They will offer him or have offered him a new deal, but at the time of recording, nothing has been signed just yet. We know Spurs are in the mix as well and that they've contacted his representatives. No further detail around that has come out at this moment in time. So as it stands right now, Karl Darlow is weighing up his options, I suppose, is the best way to put it. He's probably lying beside a pool somewhere just enjoying his off-season right now and not thinking about anything and letting his agent deal with all this work. But according to the Athletic this morning, there is more interest in Karl Darlow. The Athletic have stated today that Manchester United are considering a move for Karl Darlow and they want an experienced backup keeper for Senny Lamens next season. Now, it's not just Karl Darlow that they're looking at. No formal offer at this moment in time is said to have gone in. They're weighing up the option right now. They're also interested in Sam Johnston. So right now they're looking at a certain type of keeper. And again, this will fall down to what the individual wants himself. What Karl Darlow actually wants for himself next season and probably his last major contract that he's going to get from any club. Does he want to be a number 2 at a club next season? Can he get any kind of assurances from Leeds United whether he'll be a number 1 next season, or will he just be fighting for that number 1 spot? It is a topic that we talked about with Adam Pope, which will come out tomorrow night in the podcast. He has an interesting take on this as well, but the goalkeeping area needs to get sorted for Leeds. You just don't want this rumbling on too long. If he's going to go, he's going to go. Get somebody else in. If he's going to stay, great, lock him down. And let's move on and we'll talk about other positions and focus on other areas of the pitch. I can't see him going to Manchester United after Leeds, but you never know with footballers. Again, depending what's on offer, he might be guaranteed some cup football. He might get a couple of Champions League games. He might want that. But he is a Welsh international, and playing for Wales seems to matter for him right now as well. So he'll want to be at least in a position where he can continue to play for the Welsh national side and maybe get into a Euros with them in the next couple of years. So yeah, more ground to run on that. As I say, you can check out last night's podcast. It is available over there somewhere. And if you're a fan of this kind of content, you can subscribe to the channel, like the video on your way out the door. And if you're listening on the audio platforms, you can give us a channel rating and a follow over there as well. Massive thanks to everyone for supporting the channel and watching as per usual. I will be back tomorrow morning for the news and the podcast out tomorrow night. Check out last night's one as well. See you later. Bye.